YouTube, it's your boy, yo, the best that ever did it. A true winner, 6 p.m. Underdog King, week 8. We already in week 8, man. It's going by quick. But we gonna cook up the best college football on the YouTube. Y'all already can see my results every week. Go to my shorts if you didn't see my results for week 7. We was 13 out of 14 on my big parlay. Yeah, man, we gonna continue to cook it up, man. We gonna start from Wednesday. My bad, I missed Tuesday's games due to traveling, but we gonna get back to Wednesdays and forward. So we gonna cook up the whole slate. We're gonna do the lemon squeeze feature, where we do the lemon squeeze, where we get through every game as quickly as possible. Be sure to leave a sub. It helps out a ton. It's free. Leave me a sub, like, and comment your top 4 picks of the week. Let's kick it off with FIU, Sam Houston. And like I said, man, if you didn't see my results for week 7, go check out my shorts. But FIU versus Sam Houston State. And Sam Houston State is the favorite by 6, and they're 0-6. You know what I'm saying? They're 0-6. Do I think they should be the favorite, laying 6, as they're 0-6? No, I do not think that. I also been saying Sam Houston State is one of the worst teams in the country. Um, we already knew, this coming into the year, and it follows suit. FIU is 3-4. They got 3 wins under their belt. You know what I'm saying? If you want to look at who they beat and who they lost to, they got 3 losses in a row. Liberty beat them by 32. New Mexico State beat them by 17. And UTEP beat them by 13. So all double-digit losses. And they beat UConn, North Texas, and Maine. You know what I'm saying? I believe UConn is slightly bit better than Sam Houston. North Texas is slightly bit better than Sam Houston. North Texas is way better than Sam Houston, actually. UConn is just slightly better than Sam Houston. This same New Mexico State team, they lost by 14. Liberty, they lost by 5. Jacksonville State lost in overtime by 7. We already knew Houston was going to clobber them. Big feel-good win for Houston. They only lost to BYU by 14. Lost to Air Force by 10. Man, it's an ugly game right here, but I'm going to have to go with FIU in the points. There's no reason we should be taking Sam Houston. But also, like I said, tread carefully on this game, man. Tread lightly on this game. Because just like I said with Notre Dame versus USC, I said it was no shot of Notre Dame beating USC. They were the favorite in that game. You know what I'm saying? Notre Dame was the favorite for no reason against USC. But we see what happened, and we see why. You know what I'm saying? We see the books know sometimes that why they're the favorite. This could be one of those cases because they're 0-6. Why are they the favorite? You know what I'm saying? The books might know something, so tread carefully on this game. But if it's just a normal day, FIU is winning this all day long. FIU on the money line. New Mexico State at UTEP. And UTEP is a sleeper team, man. UTEP is one of those teams that could win one day and then they could look bad the next 2-3 weeks and then have a great win the next day. They only beat FIU, and then they beat Incarnate Word. You know what I'm saying? Put up 10 points against Louisiana Tech. New Mexico State is 4-3, 2-game winning streak. You know what I'm saying? They get a little bit more aggressive on offense. I think they have the better offense, honestly. Definitely. I'm going to have to lean with my boys, New Mexico State, in this one. New Mexico State has one of the better offenses in this conference. And UTEP is one-dimensional. They without the run game for UTEP, without that run game, if you shut down the run game for UTEP, you could stop these boys. And that's what FIU's bad at, stopping the run game. That's why they were able to get that victory. But other than that, they've only beaten Incarnate, where I haven't seen enough from UTEP from the quarterback. Next up, we got James Madison and Marshall for the Thursday slate. And we got James Madison, who's 6-0, coming in here against Marshall, 3.5 point spread. Now, James Madison, I did fade them last game. I faded James Madison. I did. I thought Georgia Southern could hang with them. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. But after they let Utah State in the back door and let South Alabama only lose by 8, it was a competitive game, and only beat Troy by 2 points. I thought they had a chance to lose to Georgia Southern. No, sir. They played Georgia State and got absolutely handled after putting up 41 against North Carolina State. Let Old Dominion put up 35. I got to side with James Madison. This is one of those teams you shouldn't be fading, but this could very well be an upset. Don't get me wrong, man. This is one of those ones where we would like to tread lightly as well. Marshall could pull off the upset, because I thought the upset was going to happen last week with Georgia Southern, but it could be this week. But James Madison scores the ball often, quick. First quarter points for this team is easy. They get off to very hot starts, and Marshall cannot keep up during the second quarter. This is James Madison's games for the taking. But if I had to pick a side, if I had to put my money down where my mouth is, if I had to put my money down on one of these teams, it would be James Madison. You know what I'm saying? James Madison is the better team. But watch out for the upset, man. Rice at Tulsa. Rice, man, they've let us down for the last 4 weeks. Rice, they've only beaten ECU after a fucking scare. Then they lost to UConn, one of the worst teams in the world. Got obliterated by Southern Florida. You know what I'm saying? Beat Houston badly. Don't let the overtime fool you. They beat Houston badly. Rice got a little fight in them, man. Don't get me wrong. FAU took the slim, narrow victory against this Tulsa Golden Hurricanes, and we rolled Tulsa last week as well. It looks like Tulsa had a bye week coming into this game. After beating Temple bad, they beat NIU by 8. That's a good win right there. Other than that, they've only beat Arkansas Pine Bluff. Kept it close with FAU. Man, this one's a tricky game right here, because I like Rice in this spot. Rice on the road, they are 0-2. Tulsa's 2-1 at home. But I think all home and away records aside, I think Rice is the better team, honestly. Rice is the better team here. I think Rice will pull off the upset. And just to look at the injuries for this matchup, Tulsa's running back, Taj Gary, is going to be doubtful. You know what I'm saying? Taj Gary, he fucking played against FAU, and he had 11 carries for 53 yards. So that's an 11 carry running back for Tulsa. That's doubtful. So I like Rice in this one. Rice to get the upset, outright victory. This is a Rice week. SMU at Temple now. This is a 21-point spread for SMU. Temple just got obliterated by this damn Tulsa team. I think SMU is way better than Tulsa. We all know that. SMU did get the outright victory against ECU by 21. You know what I'm saying? Exactly the number 21. And they didn't cover 23 against Charlotte. They only won by 18, lost by 17 of TCU. SMU can win this game by 21. They can. They could. I wouldn't say lay your money on it though, but I would lean with that number. I could see it. 21 point or more victory for these boys. I could see it. We're gonna lay the 21, but I'm not rushing to the window for that. Probably a stay away, or if you could buy it down to 2 touchdowns, that would be even better. Put it on a parlay. SMU to win by 10. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna happen. They're gonna win by 10 at least. Next up, we got Memphis at UAB. We were riding UAB damn near money line. I tell you, they were the underdog of the week. And they didn't get the outright victory, but they did cover for us on our spread. We bought them up to 28 points. If you could look at like I said, look at my results, you will see UAB's on there as a winner to cover 28 points. They've been covering every fucking week. Every fucking week they've been covering for me because I've been buying them up to 28 to 25s and stuff like that. USF, they did put a pouncing on them, won by 21. Tulane, they were up in that game, but they let Tulane come back and beat them by 12, and they covered against Georgia. But this UTSA game, we already know UTSA is one of the better teams in that conference. It's UTSA. We already knew what to expect. That's why I said, but UAB did have a chance to win that game. As you can see, they still got in the 20s. Memphis is a lot better than what they've been showing people. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, Memphis is one of those schools with the pretty uniforms, the pretty helmets. Just they look the part. They got a sellout crowd. You know what I'm saying? It's just always a good atmosphere when they're at home. But now they're on the road at UAB. UAB's at the house now. Alabama, Birmingham. Boise State, we've seen how bad they've been choking the last 2 weeks. Have we not? Especially against that damn terrible team. And San Jose State, they absolutely shitted on themselves against San Jose State. And then they absolutely shitted on themselves after being up damn near 20 against Colorado State. Shitted on themselves, man. That's who's fucking damn near beat Memphis. You know what I'm saying? That's who damn near beat Memphis. Missouri, 27-34, neutral site. Made this Navy game speaks volumes to me. Navy almost beat Memphis as well. Tulane, we already knew to fade Memphis against Tulane. Memphis quarterback is going to throw an interception every game. Every game, Memphis quarterback is going to throw an interception. They're 1-4 against the spread. I think this is an overrated Memphis team. I do. I think they're overrated. But they're clearly better than UAB. You know what I'm saying? They're better than UAB, but not at the quarterback level. Maybe only the defense and maybe the star receivers or something is better than UAB's receivers, but not at the quarterback level. I'll take Zeno over Hennigan any day. Call me what you want. I'll take, if UAB's quarterback was on Memphis, they would be damn near a playoff bowl team for sure. If Memphis had a different quarterback, they would be way better. And if UAB had more star receivers, better defense, they would be way better. You know what I'm saying? But I think Memphis is a little bit better than them at the moment. But tread lightly for UAB, man, because I think they could cover. If you buy them up to 21, they could cover 21 against Memphis for sure. Baylor at Cincinnati. Now Baylor's been looking solid, man. Been fighting every week since they lost against Texas. But they got absolutely shitted on Like I said, Texas Tech was the better team anyway. I've been telling people that. If you look at my last video, you could hear me say that Texas Tech almost beat Oregon. If Oregon didn't get that interception late in the game, they would have lost that game. Texas Tech would have an upset win against Oregon, but it didn't happen. Baylor let UCF look good against them. We see UCF isn't as good as everybody thinks. They're an overrated team, just like Memphis as well. A high-scoring team that's overrated. UCF almost beat these boys, but they let them have it at the end, let Baylor get to it. Baylor hasn't played anybody. They lost to Texas State, and then they lost against a bad matchup very next week against Utah. They played LIU, won by 23. Very bad draw at Texas. You know what I'm saying? So Texas Tech is way, 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 way different than Cincinnati now. Cincinnati's coming in this one, a 20-point loss to Iowa State. We were riding Iowa State in that one. We fell off the Cincinnati Bearcats after Miami of Ohio. We already knew. After that Miami of Ohio loss, I'm like, yeah, they got a bad slate coming up. You know what I'm saying? Cincinnati's playing these power schools. It would be different if they were still in an American conference, you know what I'm saying, with Tulane and all of them. That's where Cincinnati would be looking better. But in this power conference, bro, the Big 12, you're going to get pounced on. You know what I'm saying? You let a dormant Iowa State team who put up 7 against the Ohio Bobcats, you let them put up 30. And you only put up 10, you know what I'm saying? We already knew BYU and Oklahoma was going to beat them. I think Baylor has what it takes. I think Baylor has what it takes. I think Baylor has what it takes to beat these boys. I think they do. We see the run game for Baylor. Look at the run game for Baylor. If you go look at the highlights, look at the run game for Baylor. They have a run game. They just haven't been able to showcase it against those big schools. You know what I'm saying? And the arm for the quarterback, he's inconsistent for sure. His quarterback is inconsistent for Baylor. But when he gets going, he gets going. He's a streaky quarterback. I think they have what it takes at Cincinnati. I think this is going to go well over the total. I don't know why this is dropping down to the 40s. I think we get well over this total. This might be a 60-point game, 70-point game. Cincinnati will give up points, and Cincinnati can put points up at home. But Cincinnati hasn't looked good since the game before Miami of Ohio against Pittsburgh. We know how bad Pittsburgh's offense is. Baylor's a little bit better than that. And we see how many points Baylor allowed against Texas State. I think we get the over, if anything. If you don't want to pick a side, go with the over. But I like Baylor to get the outright upset in the over. UCF, another overrated team against Oklahoma, 6-0, who just took out Texas. They just got 30-piece by Kansas, and then they lost to Baylor before that. And let a solid Kansas State team beat them by 13 in a 75-point total game. Oklahoma and them boys coming off 2 big wins, 30-point victory against Iowa State, and a 30-34 win against Texas, man. Power school. Beat Cincinnati by 13. I think they got what it takes to cover this spread against UCF. UCF lose to lesser opponents. You know what I'm saying? They've lost to lesser opponents by more than this. So Oklahoma to lay the spread. That's where I'm leaning at. Next up, we got Rutgers at Indiana. Now, Indiana, they're one of those teams, man. They're one of those teams that could keep it close at home. I like Rutgers, though. Don't get me wrong, but they're 0-2 on the road. You got to show me some road. What have they done on the road? You know what I'm saying? At Wisconsin, a way better team than Indiana. And at Michigan, a way better team than Indiana. They only lost by fucking 11. You know what I'm saying? At Wisconsin. And Michigan State, they won by 3. I thought Michigan State had a chance to win that game outright. But they say, you know what I'm saying? Rutgers quarterback, man. Rutgers quarterback is like that. If y'all see the injury report, if you see the injury report for this game against Indiana, look at the injury report. This is one of them. You got to watch the injury reports. Hold on, y'all. All right, now look. So for the Nazim Brantley, and we got a damn guy who's been out since September 3rd. For Indiana, though, this is where it gets crucial at, because against Michigan, you know what I'm saying, the 14th of October, this is a 15 carry back for this Indiana team. Christian Turner, he's gonna be probable for a return, but he's still injured, you know what I'm saying, nonetheless. And then Dexter Williams, we already know he's been out, the real starting quarterback. Yeah, this is one of those games. If Christian Turner comes back for this game, it could be an electric day for Indiana. Until they're fully healthy, man, Indiana's only beaten Akron in overtime. They look competitive, you know what I'm saying, competitive against Louisville a little bit, just a little bit, and then they only beat Indiana State Sycamores. Rutgers is the better team at the moment, but if the running back for Indiana goes today, I like Indiana at home. If he's not playing, I like Rutgers on this one. Stay looking out for that running back change at Indiana. Rutgers money line is my official pick. Mississippi State, I missed at Arkansas. And now Arkansas has been a covering machine. Covered 3 of the last 4 games. They got a tough gauntlet, you know what I'm saying? And now this is a game that Arkansas can win. They play Alabama close. Ole Miss 1 score. Texas A&M, they did let them beat them by 12. And LSU, they lost by 3. And that's with the injuries to Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? Lost to BYU by 7. Mississippi State came into this one beating Western Michigan, a team that they can beat. Lost to LSU horrendously. Alabama horrendously. South Carolina by a score. And they've only played really good against Selah State, because I was on Arizona in that Week 2 game. And they took them to overtime cover for us. I'm not a big fan of Mississippi State. I see why they're the underdog. They deserve to be the underdog. Arkansas on the money line. I might take Arkansas on the spread, actually. I got Arkansas to lay a touchdown, honestly. Western Michigan now versus Ohio. Western Michigan now is a good team to back when they're getting big numbers. They do have a running game. You can see they covered a lot. Ball State, Toledo, and Mississippi State covers. They failed to cover, lost by 13 against Miami of Ohio. Didn't cover against Iowa and Syracuse. But they've covered the last 4 weeks, nonetheless. Michigan, but I like Ohio as the top dog. They did just take a L to NIU. I said NIU did have a shot in that game, but I like Ohio to get the job done more. And we seen NIU turn up the last 2 weeks, man. That was a good win for NIU against the top school in the conference for them of Ohio. Now this game I think is going to be closer. than 16 points. I got Western Michigan to cover, and I got Ohio to win. Air Force, Navy. Air Force 6-0. And we've been riding Air Force in the over for the past 3 weeks. As you can see, it's been hitting the past 4 weeks, actually. Maybe even longer than that. But yeah, the past 4 weeks. Air Force and the over has been hitting every fucking week. Win, 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 win in the over. I don't know why they keep putting them in 40-point totals. Like they're not going to score. You know what I'm saying? Easy money, easy money. Another week right here. They beat a good San Jose State team, a solid Utah State team, a mid-tier San Diego State team, and they instantly beat a good small challenge. Navy, on the other hand, kept it close with Memphis. But since that Memphis game where they kept it close, got 2 interceptions, had a chance to win that game outright, they lost by 2 touchdowns to USF. They beat North Texas by 3. And they've only put up 14 against Charlotte. I think Air Force is I think this is another Air Force in the over. They got the total at 35. It keeps getting lower for Air Force. Like it's just a dormant offense somewhere. They're now ranked 22 in the world. I think Air Force gets the outright victory, and the over again is at foot. Navy could put up at least 10. Navy gonna put up at least 10, 14 points, and Air Force will be in the 30s. They probably go cover that spread by themselves. Air Force in the over for a 7th victory for Air Force. Boston College in here coming up against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech team who just beat Miami on a blunder from Miami after losing to Bowling Green State. What a turnaround for these 2 weeks. Super inconsistent, boy. Lose to Ole Miss by 25. Then the very next week, you beat Wake Forest at their crib by what? 14? 2 touchdowns? Then you just take a shit on yourself. You got beat handedly, trolloped by Bowling Green. You know what I'm saying? It was not just a little small lucky victory. They won by a field goal. No, they were getting trolloped by Bowling Green. Then they come out and win against Miami. The U. You know what I'm saying? Super inconsistent. Super untrustworthy. This Boston College team kept it very close, competitive against Florida State. Fucked our ticket up that week. And they failed to do the same repeat against another juggernaut school in Louisville. But once they return to a beatable team, a team that's on their level of play, they won against Virginia by 3. And they covered against Army by 3 at Army. Yeah, I got to go with Boston College to cover the spread. I do like what Georgia Tech could show. You know what I'm saying? I do like what Georgia Tech could show. They got a couple good wins under their belt, but they got some bad losses under their belt as well. I think Boston College is a little bit more trustworthy. Just a little bit more trustworthy. This is a stay away game, but if I had to pick a side, I'll pick Boston College in the points. Penn State, number 6, 6-0 versus 6-0. Ohio State. And in this game, I think Ohio State is the much better team. Don't get me wrong, Ohio State is the much better team. Penn State has really played nobody. The best probably win is Virginia, West Virginia, week 1. That's their biggest win. Thrall up West Virginia. And then Purdue got their ass handled. We already knew that was really not on their competition level. Maryland is on their competition level, and they beat them boys by 20. Notre Dame is on their competition level, and they beat them by 3 in a gutsy last play call. Western Kentucky 63-10. Indiana 23-3. Now this team is on their level though. Penn State is on Ohio State's level. 45-point total. Now we already know, man. We already know the Ohio State offense is outstanding. We already know. But Penn State has been putting up points as well every week. Every week they've been putting up points. That's why they rank 6th in the world. 38. They had 30 points or more in every game. 30 points or more in every game. But they played nobody. UMass, Northwestern, Iowa, Illinois, and Western Virginia are their toughest opponents. Iowa, who has no offense, who's always going to be an under team. They don't very score a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's a mismatch. Illinois is down here. That's a mismatch. West Virginia is the best win, but they allow 15 points from them. The most they've allowed all year, 15 points. Great defense, but it's playing nobody. You're going to always look good. They've allowed 17, the most points they've allowed. Shut down Notre Dame at 14. I think the upside here is the home field advantage. Like I said, just like with Washington versus Oregon, when you got two bomb schools like that, it comes down to home field advantage. And I think a home field advantage gives the edge to this nice offense in Ohio State. I think Ohio State's get a narrow victory, man. But Penn State will fight. Penn State will make it hard. If Penn State could get some turnovers, and if Penn State could get some turnovers, man, they might win this game. That's what's going to be the difference maker for Penn State is turnovers. If they get more turnovers than they allow, they have a shot at winning this game. But Ohio State doesn't turn the ball over that much. The QB is savvy. I like Ohio State in this one. I like Ohio State to get the difference at home. You know what I'm saying? Slight difference. UL Monroe at Georgia Southern. ULM coming in here shitting on themselves 2 weeks in a row. 7 is 55, and then they lost to Texas State. Covered to 18. Covered to 14 against App State. We had them to cover against South Alabama, and they did not show any fight at all. And then they covered the very next week. Super inconsistent, just like Georgia Tech. This is a baby Georgia Tech right here, UL Monroe. You know what I'm saying? And I think it just don't fare well against Georgia Southern, who's a team who's 4-2. They lost to James Madison, who I thought they could beat. But they did not beat them at all. They didn't even get close. They didn't even have a shot. You know what I'm saying? Coastal Carolina got a nice 10-point loss handed to them by Georgia Southern. Ball State 40-3, and they failed to. They pushed against Wisconsin like I said they would. We rode them plus the 21. And UAB, they absolutely had a shot to win that game, but Georgia Southern kept the gas on all the game long. I think against a ULM team, Georgia Southern would thrive. ULM could keep it close like App State, but it's just betting on fire. It's like playing with fire if you want to trust ULM. You know what I'm saying? So I got Georgia Southern, and I'll lay the 14 with Georgia Southern. You could buy that down to 14, lay the 14 with Georgia Southern. Now we got Akron, who took a big loss at quarterback with DJ Irons out for the season, I believe. And since he's been out for the season, all loses, all losses. You know what I'm saying? Central Michigan beat them by 7. Bowling Green, team who just looked good last week again. After this big Georgia Tech victory, we thought they could cover. Maybe they could cover against Miami of Ohio. Shitted on themselves. And then the very next week where we fall off of them and damn near fade them, I picked Buffalo. and now they come back with a fucking victory. You know what I'm saying? Super inconsistent team, just like Georgia Tech and ULM. But they are better than Akron. Akron has no quarterback play at the moment. Until Akron shows some sign of life after losing their quarterback for the season, I'm going with Bowling Green on the money line. Charlotte at ECU, both 1-5. 0-3 is Charlotte on the road. ECU showed fight against Rice. They showed fight against App State, beat Gardner-Webb by 44, and SMU beat them by 21. Marshall beat them boys bad, 28. Now Charlotte's coming into this one with a 0-point performance against Navy. Lost by 18 to SMU. Lost by 15 to Florida, and they lost by 26, or 16, I'm sorry. They lost by 16 against Georgia Southern at home. Georgia Southern beat them by 16. You know what I'm saying? A good team in Georgia Southern who I think could cover the spread this week. ECU has a little bit more fight, man. I like ECU to get the job done at home. 1-2 at home. That's probably where they play their best ball at home. ECU. In a scrub versus scrub match, I'm going with the home team. Charlotte is nobody. Put up 0 points. They put up the same amount of points as we did last week. That's what Charlotte's doing. ECU all day. But that's a stay-away game for me. I'm not even looking at that game. But if I had to pick a side, I'm going to cover every game for y'all. And I'll pick ECU. North Texas. At 24, Tulane. 5-1, Tulane. North Texas, man, they've took some bad losses, like at Navy. They almost lost to Louisiana Tech. They let Abilene Christian put up 31. And they lost to FIU badly, and Cal. Took 2 clunkers to start off the season. And Tulane is out of the question for them boys. Tulane is a different tier of a team. Tulane is not about to lose this game to them. Tulane only lost to Ole Miss. Quarterback play is too elite. The defense is way better on Tulane. Everything is in Tulane's favor, and they're at home. I think this could be a 21-point victory for Tulane. I do. I like the over on this game. I love the over. I like to think this shit might be a 70-point game. That's why the spread is rising as we speak. It might be a 70-point game. Tulane all day. Might be like 54-21. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to get in the high 60s, 70s. Tulane to cover the spread. Wisconsin at Illinois. Illinois just fucking shocked the world last week. Fucked up a lot of my tickets. I bet against my Illinois boys, and they won by 3. But they pretty much dominated Maryland from start to finish. Maryland really never had a shot. After they getting throttled by Purdue and throttled by Nebraska, you come out here and beat Maryland? You know what I'm saying? Big confidence booster. Now look at this, what they've been doing against Wisconsin. Lost to Iowa, a dormant offense. I knew that was going to go under. Every time we see Iowa, take the under. I don't care if it's a 12-point spread. Rutgers, a team that they should beat them boys. Purdue, a team that they should beat. You know what I'm saying? But I thought Purdue had a better shot at covering, honestly. I think Wisconsin is the better team here, man. Wisconsin is the better team. Illinois ain't nobody special. Now, Illinois looking like one of those teams that's like super inconsistent. They're 1-6 against the spread. But Wisconsin is 1-4 against the spread. One push. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go with Wisconsin in this one. I think it's an overreaction against the win for Illinois last week. I don't like the quarterback at all on Wisconsin. I don't. The quarterback sucks at Wisconsin. I know that. I'm not ever looking to back Wisconsin, but they are better than this Illinois team. Don't let that Maryland win fool you. People will be jumping all over Illinois after that win against Maryland. This is probably a stay away game because of the surprise value of that Maryland game. Illinois could surprise against Wisconsin as well because I'm never looking to back Wisconsin. I know how bad the quarterback is at Wisconsin, but they are better than this Illinois team. I got Wisconsin. I'm on the money line. On the money line, we're not going to overreact to Illinois winning against that damn Maryland team. They haven't looked good at all this year. Pittsburgh, dormant offense at Wake Forest. Wake Forest is 2-1 at home. Last time they were at home, they lost by 14 to Georgia Tech. And at Old Dominion, they almost lost that game outright after coming back down 20-something. Clemson was no shot, and Virginia Tech throttled them boys, 17. They've only beaten Vanderbilt and Elon comfortably. Damn near lost to Old Dominion. Now Pittsburgh is coming to this one with a win. Like I said, football math. I knew they were going to pull off the upset against Louisville. I would not have bet my money on it. I stayed away from it. But I knew it was going to be that's the case, man. Louisville coming off those two big emotional wins. I knew the upset was afoot. I knew it, and I just didn't call it. I knew it in the back of my head. I just didn't speak it out. And that's my fault. That's a big winner that we missed on because of me being quiet. But like I said before that, there's no reason we should have taken this team, Pittsburgh. I like Pittsburgh in this matchup. After that big win, they throttled them boys in Louisville. Pittsburgh, big confidence booster. Wake Forest hasn't looked good against anybody except Elon. I like Pittsburgh to get the outright upset. Washington State at number 11, Oregon. Now, Washington State has been looking bad the last 2 weeks. We rode them against UCLA. One turnover cost them the game, the interception in the fourth and in the third. Or it was one of them quarters. The third or the fourth, it was an interception that gave them. You know what I'm saying? They gave the game away. And then against fucking Arizona, you put up 6 points. Against Arizona, a team that I'm high on. But I thought you had a shot. I thought you had all the shots to beat them boys. They haven't looked good since that Oregon State game that they almost let them come back and win against. I got Oregon on the money line, but I think Washington State keeps it competitive. If Cameron Ward just gets back into everything, he will cover this game. But other than that, if Cam Ward isn't playing and if they're out of stride or if somebody's hurt that we don't know about, it's like, where's the drop-off? You know what I'm saying? How did you go from scoring 38 against Oregon State to scoring 6 against Arizona? What happened? You know what I'm saying? If that's not figured out, I got Oregon Ducks all day to win by more than 20. I got Oregon Ducks to win by 40. You know what I'm saying? I got Oregon State to win by 40. I got Oregon to win by 40. But if Washington State's healthy, if everything's under control, they can cover 18. They can. But I wouldn't trust Washington State right now. They're looking tweaking. They're looking tweakish. Like, I don't get where the drop off happened. Like, somebody's injured, or you know what I'm saying? Like, the quarterback is still in there, so I don't get what's the major difference from 2 weeks ago. It's just a head scratcher for Washington. But it's classic football math, man. Like I said, against that damn Pittsburgh and Louisville game, there's no reason you should have bet on Pittsburgh, but you see what happened. This could be one of those games if Washington State returns to form. If Washington State returns to form, they can upset Oregon. But I'm not gonna bet on that. I'll bet on Oregon money line or drop them down to 14. Oregon cover 14. Ball State 1-6. Central Michigan's 4-3. Ball State finally got a victory. Finally got a victory against Indiana State Sycamores week 3. First 2 weeks had no shot. You did have a shot against Western Michigan. Couldn't pull it off. They got a run game. And Ball State has nothing. Ball State has no quarterback play, no run game. I keep saying this every week. Eastern Michigan, we already knew to fade. Ball State, they have no run game. Ball State has no run game. Ball State has no quarterback play. Ball State has no special teams. Like, what does they have to? You know what I'm saying? Can you tell me how they're going to beat Central Michigan? They couldn't even beat Western Michigan or Eastern Michigan. Central Michigan on the money line. EMU coming in this one 4-3. But they are 0-3 on the road. 0-3 on the road. NIU coming off a dominant 2-week victories. Put up 50-something on the week before this one against Akron, who has no quarterback. 33 against Toledo. And they put up 23 against one of the best, the best team in the MAC. I got NIU to win. I got NIU to win. I got NIU to win here. NIU is the better team at home. They've been playing outstanding the last 3 weeks. 33 points against a good team. Then you follow it up with a 55-point showing. Then you beat up an Ohio Bobcats team who has a win over Iowa State. I got NIU to get the victory at home. Northwestern versus Nebraska. Gotta side with Nebraska in this one. Nebraska to win, Northwestern to cover. Northwestern has only been looking decent against fucking Minnesota. Who did they beat? Howard by 3? Wow. Laying 23 points. You only beat Howard by 3. And you beat UTEP by fucking 31. I think Nebraska's way better than them. Different caliber. Big Ten school. Beat NIU bad. Beat La Tech by 14. And beat Illinois by 23. I think Nebraska could cover this point spread easily. But I think it might be a closer game than everybody's expecting. Nebraska to win on the money line. I might even take Nebraska to cover the spread. I just don't see it in Northwestern. I don't see it. But tread lightly in this game. That's a stay away game. Buffalo at Kent State. Buffalo had all the shot to win last week, and they fucking crushed a fucking damn stick. After beating Central Michigan and putting up 38 against the Raging Cajuns, beat Akron in OT. You should have beat Bowling Green after that damn clunker Bowling Green showed us. But Kent State is nobody I'm looking to back at all. Put up 14 against EMU. 17 against Ohio. They had no shot. No shot. No shot. It's one of the worst teams in the country. They've only been able to beat Central Connecticut. Man, Buffalo is the better team here. Buffalo is the much better team here. I just wouldn't lay any points for Buffalo. I like Buffalo on the money line. But Kent State probably could get the outright victory if Buffalo continues to do shit like they did last week. Kent State might get the outright victory. But that's a big might. I like Buffalo. They're a much better team. Oklahoma State, who came out and showed their ass against fucking Kansas. Oklahoma State beat Kansas by 7, beat Kansas State by 8. Lost to Iowa State team at home. And they lost a clunker to South Alabama. Western Virginia lost by 2 points against Houston, at Houston. We had Western Virginia in this one. They continued to let Houston come back. They could have put that game away a couple times. Bad play calling, bad quarterback play. No defense was played on either side. After beating TCU and Texas Tech, it was one of those upset losses, man. Now they're back at home, where they do their most damage, 3-0 at home. They only lost to Penn State, Houston team. They lost to South Alabama, Iowa State. That South Alabama game was terrible. But they've been looking good ever since that loss with Iowa State. Man, it's just tough to keep following up them road performances for Oklahoma State. I like Western Virginia. They're a little bit better at home, man, than Oklahoma State is on the road. I think that's really what this game comes down to, is the home field advantage. It's tough to keep following up that. And then with a heartbreaker loss like that against Houston, no defense, Western Michigan has at least a little bit more. West Virginia, they have no defense show last game. Oklahoma State, no defense last game. Let them boys score at will, 32 points. 21 points the week before that, 34 and 33. I like the over in this game. Give me the over between West Virginia, Oklahoma State. That's the strongest play for me on this one. Oklahoma does have a chance to win this game. They do. But it's going to come back down to, who do you think has the better quarterback? Who do you think has the better quarterback? You know what I'm saying? Two touchdown passes in this win. The rest of them were field goals and a rush. Kansas State, Oklahoma State threw no touchdowns this game. Touchdown run, interception, pick six, and all field goals. I think the better offense is with West Virginia. The quarterback play is with West Virginia, and they're at home. Everything sides for West Virginia. I got West Virginia on the money line in the over. South Carolina at number 20, Missouri. 6-1 Missouri. We were on Missouri last week. They beat up a weak Kentucky team who fucking shitted on us against Georgia. We've fallen off of them since Georgia. LSU did outdo them, but they almost had a shot at beating LSU. Everybody knows Vanderbilt is the team to beat up on, and they beat Memphis before that. A solid, overrated Memphis team. And South Carolina did keep it close with Florida, but I told people Florida was going to win that, didn't I? Underdog king. I told people Florida beat Tennessee. And Tennessee throttled these boys. You know what I'm saying? Or no, is it the other way around? Oh, yeah, no, I got it right. Yeah, Florida beat Tennessee. And Tennessee beat these boys by 21. So it's just like Florida is a different caliber school than South Carolina. We already knew to fade them. But they did play very good that game, bro. South Carolina and Spencer Rattler did look good. But against a Missouri team who's 6-1 at home, Missouri is going to light you up. You know what I'm saying? Missouri will light you up. I like the over in this game all day long. It might be an 80-point game like last week. It might be an 80-point game. Definitely we getting in the high 60s. I like the over, and I like Missouri on the money line. Tennessee Alabama. Alabama has been getting tested every fucking week. Arkansas beat these, almost beat them boys. Texas A&M almost beat them boys. Always one score for the last 2 weeks against them top tier schools. It's been one score against them beatable schools like Mississippi State. Ole Miss is one of those top tier schools as well, but they beat them by 14. But before that, they lost to Texas, and then they only beat USF by 14. Tennessee coming in this one 5-1 after a win against Texas A&M by 7. But they got a clunker to Florida at Florida. You see when they go on the road. You see when they go on the road at Florida, the top tier school. It's ugly. I got Alabama to win this one comfortably. Tennessee could pull off a drama, but not this year. I got Alabama at home. They don't lose a lot of home games. Much better team, much better quarterback. Home field advantage. Alabama in the win. But I like the over in the Alabama game too. It should not be 48 at all. I think that's the strongest play of. That's a lock right there. Over 48. That's a lock. You see it's growing up a half a point already. Get it before it starts getting higher. It will be 50 by the end of the week. Alabama and the over. Minnesota at number 23, Iowa. Iowa should not be ranked. But, every time we see these two schools, we're going to take the under. The books have been catching up to the under. The under has hit in the last 3 out of the last 4 games. The under is hitting 3. And they lost to Penn State by 31-0. Michigan State, who's bad this year, they beat them by 10. Purdue, 20-14 victory, and Wisconsin 15-6. Miserable unders, you know what I'm saying? Very boring games. Minnesota, they do give up more points. They do score a little bit more points. Yeah, I think we get over this total this week. When we see these two teams, it's going to be an under. But I think this is the week we get the over. Minnesota's not stopping anybody. I think we slightly get over this total, though. It's not going to be a 60-point game, but it will be in the high 40s. It will be like a 48 total. I do got Minnesota to upset these boys, too. I like Minnesota to get the upset against Iowa. I think Iowa's got two big emotional upset wins. Not upsets against Purdue, but that was an upset emotional win against Wisconsin, who I thought Wisconsin would have beaten. But we did ride Iowa plus the points, though. Like I said, I took Wisconsin money line, but Iowa to cover. But Iowa got the outright victory, so I can't complain. And I think this is the week Minnesota gets the outright victory. 0-2 on the road is Minnesota. 1-5 against the spread. But the offense, though, on Minnesota is a little bit more potent. Maybe not the quarterback. Maybe not the running back for Minnesota, but the quarterback is better on Minnesota than it is on Iowa. Like I said, Minnesota's beating Nebraska and EMU. It could very well be another miserable, long-scoring game. It could be. It should be. But I think this game we get the over. Over in Minnesota on the money line. The underdog. South Florida at UConn, man. These boys are scrubs. They've only beaten Rice. They finally got a win. I thought they would have got their first win against Utah State. They could be on a 2-game win streak if they would have won the Utah State game. Kept it close with Florida International. USF looked ugly last week, looked ugly the week before that, but they look good against Rice, and they look good against Navy. Rice team who just let this UConn team beat them. Lost to by 14 to Alabama, and they lost bad to Western Kentucky. At this point in the season, we know who's the better team here. USF is the better team here. But this is one of those ones where we have to look at the injury report, make sure it's no injuries. So the injury report says for USF, let's make sure no quarterbacks are hurt. Just Gary Bohannon, he's been out since, the start of the season. And the quarterback for UConn's been out for the season since game 1. So no real big injury changes in this game. I got to go with South Florida to win the game on the money line. And I like the over as well. 60-point game minimum. Toledo, Miami of Ohio. 6-1 teams, man. Who would have thought Miami of Ohio would be 6-1? They've been on a tear since that damn Cincinnati win. They only lost to Miami. Beat UMass, Cincinnati in overtime, Kent State, Dixie State. Them are nobodies. Win patterns. But they beat a hot Bowling Green team, beat Georgia Tech. Held them to 0 points. And then they beat Western Michigan, who I thought Western Michigan had a chance to win that game. They've only beaten Ball State by 7. Ball State has nothing to offer. NIU almost beat them. Western Michigan, they did get handled. UMass did get handled as well. They only lost to Illinois by fucking 2. I think this one goes down to home field advantage. I got Miami of Ohio in this one. Miami of Ohio has just been showing that they can hang with whoever they play with. Toledo is the better team, better quarterback. But I got Miami of Ohio. This is damn near a coin flip game. I know Toledo played the better competition. But only ever so slightly, though. Just NIU and Illinois and San Jose State. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, I'm leaning with the home team. I like Miami of Ohio to get the outright victory, but I think Toledo could cover anything under 10 points. Give me Toledo to cover 10 points, but Miami of Ohio to win. Texas at Houston. Houston just got the outright victory against West Virginia. Texas did just take a loss against Oklahoma. Now, we know Texas is way better than Houston. I got Texas on the money line. Probably to win by 2 touchdowns. I'll drop them down to 14. Texas to win by 2 touchdowns. Now, we got Hawaii at New Mexico Lobos. I told you guys Hawaii was going to keep that last game close at San Diego State because they always have them night games at home. It gives teams a hard chance to win. But, you know what I'm saying? A lot of teams do beat Hawaii. But Hawaii does make it interesting for them, though, man. I think Hawaii is a little bit better than this New Mexico team. New Mexico doesn't really have anything to offer. Besides that Wyoming game where they put up 26. what have they really done? You know what I'm saying? Like, what have they really done? Beat Tennessee Tech. Okay. Beat UMass in overtime. It took overtime. Beat UMass. Hawaii. You've beaten a solid New Mexico State after trailing 17 or 14. No, yeah, you were trailing 14 after being down 2 touchdowns at halftime. You came back and won that game. You had faced Oregon already. Let Vanderbilt beat you by 7. UNLV beat them by 24. Yeah, man. This is a stay away game for me, but if I had to pick any team, I would pick Hawaii. I lean with Hawaii on the money line. Now we got UTSA against FAU. 2 solid teams, man. I like both of these teams. Both of these teams are well-disciplined, well-coached teams, poised. We were on FAU last week. Perfect example. They almost beat Illinois. Lost to Clemson, they had no shot. Lost to Ohio, one of the best teams in the MAC. But UTSA, man, they got a little offense to them. They got a little swagger to them. 41 points against UAB. Almost beat Houston. Had no shot against Tennessee. Lost to Army, though. That's a big loss. And Texas State beat them boys. I got to go with UTSA in this one. UTSA has the quarterback play I'm looking for. I like what the FAU Owls have been doing too, but I just think with this level of competition, UTSA is the better school, better quarterback, better coach, better plays. I like the running back a little bit better on UTSA as well. Virginia at North Carolina. Virginia at North Carolina. Now, we already know North Carolina is the better team. I don't know why this is a 56 total. Virginia is not going to stop these boys. And I think North Carolina could surrender at least 10 points. Put up 40 or so. You know what I'm saying? 45 to 13. Something like that. I think we get over the total and North Carolina to cover the spread. Colorado State, UNLV. And we got to go with Colorado State. There's no reason Colorado State, after pulling off that upset, they keep showing grit every week. Now, I know why UNLV is the favorite. I do know why. They're 5-1. They only look bad against Michigan. They almost lost to Vanderbilt, but they got the outright victory. And UTEP had no shot against them. Hawaii had no shot. And Nevada had no shot. We were on them last 2-3 weeks. We were on UNLV. But I think this is the week where we get off of UNLV. They took a clunker to Utah State, but they beat Middle Tennessee, who just kept it close. And they took a Colorado team to OT. Beat Boise State after trailing. It's not a good recipe. I don't like teams that trail and always try to come back. UNLV has shown more promise, more formidableness. But trust me, guys, Colorado State is a team you don't never want to count out. They keep showing you week after week not to count them out. I counted them out against Colorado. We still did get the victory for Colorado, but they damn near should have beat Colorado, man. I think UNLV is in trouble here. I think Colorado State covers for sure. They cover 8 points for sure. But UNLV might get it on the money line. UNLV on the money line, Colorado cover. I got UNLV on the money line, Colorado State to cover. Coastal Carolina at Arkansas State. Coastal Carolina all day long. Coastal Carolina is the better team, better defense. That's what's going to be the difference in this game, the defense. Trust Coastal Carolina's defense way more than Arkansas State. Arkansas State is not doing anything as of late. 37 points surrendered against Troy, 28 against UMass, 37 against South Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? Coastal Carolina's coming in this one, beating App State, surrendering 38 against Georgia Southern, and surrendering 30 against Georgia State. Coastal Carolina is the better team here. Big momentum booster, big feel-good win for them after beating App State. I think they continue rolling on here, continue to train moving here, roll over this Arkansas State team. Over, I like the over for sure in that Coastal Carolina game. Over the total and Coastal Carolina to win. Mississippi at Auburn. Ole Miss versus Auburn. Auburn, after keeping it very close with Georgia, they took a fucking shit on themselves, lost by 30 at LSU. At Texas A&M, lost by 17. And just outside of that Georgia game where they look good, they've only beaten Cal by 4. Ole Miss is the favorite for a reason. Ole Miss and Jackson Dart, they are the favorite for a reason. Beat Arkansas, beat LSU, beat Georgia Tech, and they did not beat Alabama. But the last 5 games, beat up on a good Tulane team, beat up on a great LSU team, and beat up on a good Arkansas team. I got to side with Ole Miss. Got the better wins under their belt, much more trustworthy. Outside of that Georgia game where they looked good but still lost, they haven't really looked like shit this year. You know what I'm saying? Auburn has done nothing this year. Ole Miss to cover the 7. Utah State at San Jose State. Now, San Jose State is super inconsistent. San Jose State is super inconsistent. Utah State is the same thing. They covered against Fresno State, but we were on Fresno in that one for sure. We already know Fresno is the better team, but they did keep it way closer than I expected. Colorado State, they throttled them boys. I was on Colorado State in that one. They had no shot. And UConn, we already know how bad UConn is. They should have lost that game to UConn, though. San Jose State played a little bit of a tougher schedule. Toledo, Oregon State, USC, Air Force, and Bowling Green. That's a tough slate for anybody. And they still got 2 wins against the weaker teams, just like a weaker team here in Utah State. But they beat New Mexico, nobody. And they beat Cal Poly. I think that's Cal Poly. It would make sense for it to be. This is a stay away game for me, but I gotta cover every game for y'all. If I had to pick a side here, I would lean with Utah State plus the points. I'll lean with Utah State plus the points. But I wouldn't be surprised if San Jose State demolished them boys. But I'll lean with Utah State plus the points. App State coming in this one, losing against Coastal Carolina, almost losing to ULM and losing to Wyoming, and almost losing to ECU as well. Super finicky 4 weeks for App State. I'm not looking to back them after them last 4 weeks. And the same thing could be said for this team. Super finicky last 4 weeks for Old Dominion, where they were well up on the scoreboard against Wake Forest, and they let them come all the way back after trailing almost 20 points. As you guys can see, Old Dominion was up 17-0 at halftime. Then they went up 24-13 at the end of the at the end of the third. Still up 11 points at the end of the third. and you fucking lose. You lose. You know what I'm saying? They should have beaten Wake Forest. They almost beat Marshall. That's a good game right there. And then they beat Southern Mississippi, who's super overrated this year. I like this game to go well over the total. No defense is going to be played here. This should be a 60-point total minimum. It should be looking like the San Jose total over here. 60-point total for this game. I like the over as the strongest play. No team will score. No team will play any defense in this game. And honestly, I like Old Dominion at home in the points. If I had to pick a side, I would pick Old Dominion at home in the points. TCU at Kansas State. Kansas State and TCU coming in here off losses. Well, not Kansas State, but TCU definitely coming off a loss. Damn, am I tripping? Yeah, I'm tripping. Both of these motherfuckers coming in here off wins. Let me stop tripping. BYU, who fucking the only team off on my fucking 14 leg this week. 13 out of 14 because of BYU couldn't cover 14 points. And I already should have known that. I should have seen that coming. That's a slap in the face to myself. Slap myself. I lost that ticket by myself. I should have already known better when they only put up 14 points. You know what I'm saying? When BYU only put up 14 points against Sam Houston, I knew not to back BYU ever again. That's what I did last week. I gotta deserve it. I deserve that. But TCU is one of those big upper echelon schools. You know what I'm saying? They went to damn near the last game, the finals last year, and shit against Iowa State, they damn near lost, but that's Iowa State. It was solid. If you see what I'm saying though, against this damn like teams like Oklahoma State, who you should be beating on the road, Missouri, who you could have beat on the road, but at home though, that's where Kansas State thrives. That's where Kansas State thrives at, and on the road is where TCU also has struggles. They've only had two road games. I think they got a spoiled schedule. They've been given a spoiled ass schedule, man. And I think they're in for a rude awakening against Kansas State. I got Kansas State on the money line. TCU versus BYU. Texas Tech versus BYU. And I'm going with Texas Tech in this one. We know they just lost against Kansas State. But we're not going to overreact to that loss. Kansas State is good. BYU is the opposite of Kansas State. BYU is too inconsistent. And I like Texas Tech, honestly, to get the job done. More trustworthy. BYU does play their best ball at home. This could be one of those football math games. But look who they've played. Southern Utah and Sam Houston. Cincinnati was their toughest opponent at home this year, and they only beat them by 8. I got Texas Tech to get the game. At least if you take Texas Tech to cover 8 points as an underdog, if you could buy them down to fucking like a 10-point underdog for Texas Tech, I'll take the 10 points all day long. But I think Texas Tech gets the outright victory. LSU versus Army. I got LSU to win by 40. Army's not going to compete with these boys. LSU to get the big victory at home. Feel good win. This is like a bye week for them. Michigan versus Michigan State. I got Michigan to win big. They're 7-0. Number 2 in the world. Michigan State will keep it close, though. This is a rivalry. They will keep it close in the first half, but not after the first half. Michigan to win big in a late night game. Duke, who took out Clemson at Florida State. 6-0 Florida State. It's 5-1 Duke. Duke lost to Notre Dame by 7. It's beating everybody else. Clemson they beat Clemson by 21 in an upset of the week type game. And Florida also beat Clemson in overtime. It took overtime though. They only beat Boston College by 2 points. Shitted on Syracuse and shitted on Virginia Tech. 2 lowest tier schools. I think Duke has what it takes to keep it close. Duke is not like Kentucky. Florida State is the better team at home. But Duke, man, I think Duke has some fight in them, man. Duke to cover the spread and Florida State to win. But don't get it wrong, man. Duke has a shot at winning this game. Duke does have a shot at winning the game. Georgia State at UL Lafayette. Raging Cajuns versus Georgia State. Georgia State's 5-1. Raging Cajuns 4-2. Marshall, shut them boys down. Coastal Carolina, shut them boys down. They lost bad to Troy. For some reason, Troy had their number. And then they let Rhode Island put up 35 game 1. Texas State almost kept it a good game for them. Almost got the outright victory, but Raging Cajuns pulled through. Raging Cajuns couldn't beat Minnesota. Let Buffalo put up 38. And UAB put up 21. Their other losses against Old Dominion. And they're coming off a bye week. Both of them. But no, not both of them. Georgia State just played very good against Marshall, man. I think Georgia State has a little bit more momentum. Georgia State has the momentum coming into this game. UL Lafayette, they've coming off the bye week a little bit. You know what I'm saying? They could be showing signs of rust. They could be going through the motions in the first 2 quarters. I think Georgia State wins this in the first half. I got Georgia State money line in the first half. But the full game pick, I'm going to still side with Georgia State. I think Georgia State pulls this one off. Georgia State to pull it off the upset. And I like the under in this game. I like the under. I like the under in this Georgia State game. People think it's going to be a 70-point game. It very well could be. Don't get me wrong. But I think we see defense. I think we see Raging Cajuns a little bit more sluggish coming off the bye week. And I think we get the under in Georgia State victory. Clemson at Miami. This is a battle of the unranked. Battle of the unranked. These are usually 2 ranked schools. Miami's at home, who just fucking shitted on themselves. Should have won that game against Georgia Tech. They decided to run the ball. Your coach should be fired after that. There's no reason you shouldn't be 5-1 right now. And Texas A&M, they shitted on them at home. They've only played, that's the best competition they played all year, Texas A&M. Clemson has played Wake Forest, shitted on them by 5 points. Shitted on Syracuse by fucking, 17? Florida State, they did beat them boys, and they lost to Duke as well. I got Miami to come through for us. Miami on the money line. I don't like the quarterback at Clemson. I'm not a Klubnik fan. Klubnik, he's not it. He's not the answer. Just like Joe Milton for Tennessee. Even though they're winning games with them, that's the defense and just the atmosphere of being an upper echelon school. You're going to look good against a weaker competition. But when it's a good school and Miami playing you, I think it comes down to who's got the better quarterback sometimes, and it's Miami of Ohio. Not Ohio, Miami University has the better quarterback, and they're at home. I think everybody's fading them after that Georgia Tech blunder. I got Miami to win this game outright. USC's coming in here a 7-point favorite after losing against Notre Dame, who we thought they should have beat. I thought they should have beat them at least, shit. But the books showed us why they had Notre Dame the favorites. The game was very close until Caleb Williams threw that interception, and then they scored the very next two plays. Basically a pick six that blew it out of proportion in a tight, low-scoring game. Utah, nobody I'm looking to back. They did beat Cal. I was riding Cal on that one. But yeah, Cal's not on Utah's level. I should have known better than that. I was riding Cal, but Utah's not on Cal level. They're way better of a team. Oregon State did hand them boys their first loss, though. And I think fucking USC will hand them a second loss. Utah's not able to keep up with this offense in USC. USC tastes defeated. Now they could get all of that undefeated jitters out of their body. I think USC gets this one done on the money line. They might win by 3 touchdowns, but I'll just say the 1 touchdown. I'll lay the 1 touchdown with USC. 1 touchdown win for USC. I'll lay the number. Nevada coming in this one 14-point underdogs, 0-6 against San Diego State. This is a feel-good win for San Diego State. I'll lay the points with San Diego State. Lay them. Nevada is that bad. Nevada will be 0-7 after this game, and I think they lose by more than 14. San Diego State to win on a feel-good win for San Diego State. Arizona State now coming against Washington, who just took down Oregon, and Arizona, and Cal, and Michigan State, and Boise State, and Tulsa. They had a nice little schedule, Washington did. Arizona lost to Colorado, lost to Cal, lost to USC, lost to Fresno by 29. Washington laid a big number all day long, man. Washington's on a different level. Washington to win big here. Washington on the money line and the point spread. If you could buy this down to 3 touchdowns, I'll feel way more comfortable laying 3 touchdowns. And UCLA in the late night game of the week. Number 25 UCLA versus Stanford, who just beat Colorado after trailing terribly. UCLA to win big. UCLA to win by fucking 2 touchdowns. Night game for UCLA. I love UCLA at night. Look up the statistics. UCLA at nighttime, they cover 72% of the times. And I got UCLA to cover this one. 3 touchdown favorite for a reason. UCLA to win big. And that's how we're going to win off week 8. As usual, we're going to cook up a 4-leg parlay. My 4 locks of the week. We're going to go over my 4 locks of the week. First lock of the week. First lock of the week is going to be Air Force in the over. Air Force on the money line, the over. You could parlay those up. Just Air Force on the money line. It's going to be a juicy price. It might be like negative 600. Air Force on the money line and the over. Yep. There you go right there. Pittsburgh money line. Air Force in the under. The over. Air Force in the over. Pittsburgh money line. like Minnesota too over them boys. But for safety purposes, we're gonna just do a safe one. I like Coastal Carolina money line over Arkansas State. 4-leg parlay, the safest parlay of the week. Air Force in the over, Coastal Carolina and Pittsburgh money line. Cook it up, put $100 on it, put $10, put $1 on it, put whatever you want. Let's hit the book together. And 2 more bonus picks you can add on to that to make it a nice 6-leg winner. A nice juicy 6-leg winner. You could throw Miami on there, and you could throw San Diego State on there, minus the 14. Make it a nice juicy winner, 6-leg parlay. Till next time, till week 9, it's your boy, True Winner, 6 p.m. Till next time.